So let me ask you something. When does your life start? Like after the job, after you fall in love, after you have kids, when you graduate? Like at what point do you feel like life started? Because I realize I've been living a life where I've been waiting for something to happen so I can start living my life. Whether that's getting all the right equipment together for my YouTube channel, getting to the weight I want, having a kid, finding a relationship. My life was always starting at some milestone, some point in the future that wasn't here. And I don't know why. So hey royalty, this is Carissa. If this is your first time here, babe, I am glad to have you. And if you're a returning subscriber, baby, sexy thing, you better stop being so damn sexy. They gonna arrest you. They gonna get you. Now guys, I have been going through a lot of changes in my life. And the month of June really felt like a wait and this will happen. Like if I could just get through these days and I can finally start living my life, things will finally just fall into place. And during that journey, I have forgotten, it's almost like a representation of what my life has been or was. I so rarely am satisfied with the now. I am constantly thinking of the future. And this YouTube channel is a perfect example of it. I am constantly thinking of how many subscribers I want to get. I think that's so common that you get on a YouTube channel. They're like, guys, we're almost at 50. We're almost at 100. We're almost at like whatever X number it is. That's where their mind is I have got to get there. And even for my small little channel, I remember thinking, oh, when I get to 30, I'll feel like achieved. When I get to 40, and then when I got to 40, every single time I got somewhere, it was me moving the goalpost forward. I was never actually satisfied or happy with achieving that goal because I just was constantly pushing it forward. It wasn't until I actually, it sounds super silly, when I hit 40 that I realized, no, you hit your goal. No, it's not 100. No, it's not 1,000. No, it's not, anything significant in terms of others. But for me, I was really proud because I started from zero and this is where I wanted to be. I had been thinking if I get to 40, I'd be so happy. And it took me getting to 40 and being like, oh, well, now I'm going to get to 50. How much of my life have I spent thinking of where I need to be next? Not remembering all the trials and tribulations and the journey it took me to get to this milestone in the first place. I don't even celebrate. I'm not even excited. I'm just like, okay, did it next. And you rob yourself of such joy when that becomes the way you view things. When your future just becomes a checklist, a milestone list, it's hard for you to actually appreciate and acknowledge the world that you have right in front of you, what you have accomplished, what you have done, because you're only focused on what you can't. And that's a lesson I've really had to really intake with June coming into July, is that I can't wait to celebrate. I need to celebrate now. I need to be proud of now in this moment. Not only have I found myself not celebrating the little milestones that I have in my life, I found myself constantly waiting for something to happen before I did this. I was waiting to travel to all of these great places when I found someone that I wanted to be with, to explore these things with. I didn't want to go cruising because I didn't want to go by myself and I didn't have the right girlfriends to go out with or whatever it may be. I just felt like I was waiting for something to happen. I was waiting for my social life to happen. I was waiting for me to get more financially, whatever that was, I was constantly waiting. And that wait just turned into never doing it. And it wasn't until I started actually saying, no, I may not have everything. I may not have the perfect camera for YouTube. I may not have, the money to get the top suite at the top hotel, but you know what? I do have money to get a nice little Airbnb, or I do have money to get a solo room on a cruise, or I do have, the company of myself to enjoy the city that I'm in. I don't need someone else. I don't need something else to have enough. And it was when I actually went out and did those things that I realized that I found what I needed at those things. When I went cruising by myself, I found other friends who liked to cruise, who wanted to cruise with me in the future. When I went on vacation by myself to celebrate myself, I ran into people who wanted to celebrate and have a good time. When I started my YouTube channel without everything perfect, I found people who wanted to join me for the ride, who wanted to join me for the journey. And it didn't have to be perfect. It didn't all have to make sense. It didn't have to look the way I thought it would. But that didn't mean that I couldn't live my life, that I couldn't enjoy it. It didn't mean I shouldn't go travel. And that is not easy to do, to realize that you don't have what you want, but still go forward anyways, and to make do with what you want. In fact, it's quite terrifying. My first cruise alone, I was terrified I wasn't gonna meet anyone. I was scared I was gonna be alone. It's not easy fighting your fears of comfort, and just waiting keeps you safe. But that's not what you want for your life. You know, as human beings, I think we've kind of internalized that success is a milestone, or that in order to feel happy, you have to accomplish these milestones. And we so rarely find happiness in the journey to get to that milestone. I thought my life would begin when I was married with kids. You know, I remember being in my high school years, my early 20s, thinking that my life was gonna start when I met the right person and we had a family and we got to do all of these things together. It takes me being 30 now, being a single mom, and realizing I was so foolish to think that I wasn't living my life in those moments. Part of life, part of the success is the journey to find that person. You know, if you want to speak 6 or 7 languages, the success isn't the 6 or 7 languages you fluently speak. It's the journey you took to get there, to show that. That is the most important thing. That is the real progress. That is really what life is. Life is not that picturesque graduation photo on the wall. It's the story that got you there, you know? And that's the thing about milestones, is we tend to confuse them as end all be all. My close friend took 6 to 7 years longer to graduate college than I did. But he ended up being the most financially successful out of all of us, and had the high paying job and had a job of great standing. And that journey wasn't pretty. And success for him didn't necessarily look like that diploma getting handed right away with a 4.0 GPA and an instant job. Success for him turned into him continuously not giving up on himself, to going back out there, trying again and again, and eventually becoming successful. That was life. That is the importance of life, is the story of you conquering and going forward. And we get caught up in just waiting for that moment. We like Christmas Day, and then when the night is over, you get that dopamine crash because you've waited so long for this moment, and then it's over. And then your mind is on to the next thing, like, well, what else am I waiting for my life to begin? And that's what we have to get away from. That's what I have to get away from, is I have to enjoy the holiday season, not Christmas Day. I have to start enjoying the process of decorating and setting up the tree and doing all of the auxiliary BS that we think is pointless till days of, where we have the whole picture together and we're like, wow, this was incredible. My life is amazing because I did all of these XY things to get here. I think we're constantly chasing the future version of ourselves, and very rarely do we enjoy who we are. We're constantly working on something of ourselves, our weight loss, our meditation, our spirituality, our hustle, whatever XYZ thing that you want to do. And we so rarely enjoy just being who we are, and noticing our successes and knowing our greatness and giving ourselves the flowers we deserve. We're always not enough. We always haven't done this. I'm not successful in that. I don't have enough followers, or this person has this and I don't. Why are they successful? What am I doing wrong? Instead of realizing what you did right. Okay, you don't have 100 subscribers, but you got 42. Life is not going to start when you get married. Life is not going to start when you get that job. Life is not going to start when you have a money-making YouTube. Life starts tomorrow in the morning when you wake up. That's when your life started. That morning when you woke up. It's happening right now as you listen to this video. This is your life. And be proud of everything that you've accomplished, everything that you have, and remember that you've come so far. Instead of looking at the next milestone, I need you to take a moment to look back at all the milestones you've already crashed, all the ones you've already blown past and said, oh, now I can do more. And I want you to tell me the last milestone that you passed that you need to go back and remember and acknowledge and be proud of. What have you been waiting for to happen so your life can begin? And now take it and throw it out the window and use this video as a sign to just start tomorrow. If life hasn't started yet, then it started right now after this video. So if nobody told you today, me and all my Funkos want to tell you, you are loved, you are cared for, and thought of. So see you guys for next video. Bye, royalty.